Unfortunately, I could not get into BITS, so I had to go to this other school with fewer letters in its name. And so here I am. I'm really delighted to talk about online learning and reinventing education. So let me start by asking you all a question. So think of this as am I giving your system a test. So I'd like you all to think back 400 years. And in these 400 years, I would like you to think about the biggest innovations in, let's pick a field. What do you think? Transportation. So I'd like you to yell out the biggest innovations in transportation in the past 400 years. Go ahead. Can we hear it now? So what are the biggest innovations in transportation in the past 400 years?
The aircraft.
The aircraft. What else? SP here says GPS. What else?
Online booking.
Online booking. Good. I like that. So the list goes on and on. There's rocket fuel, inertial navigation systems. There's things like solid fuel. There's various kinds of navigation systems. The list goes on and on. Now let me ask you a second question. Think back 400 years and tell me about the biggest innovations in education in that same time.
I think at BITS we have both integrated learning program.
Awesome. I wish the rest of the world was as advanced, but if you think back, there really hasn't been much in the past 400 years in education. Virtually every field has been transformed by technology, whether it's medicine, healthcare, transportation, finance. Virtually every field has been transformed, but education is one field where we still have people standing before a large lecture hall and teaching against a blackboard. And there really hasn't been a whole lot of innovation. So let me give you an example here. So can you all see the slide? Can you all see the slide of this classroom?
We'll have to switch to that. Yeah.
Perfect, good. Perfect. So you see the slide. So you see the slide of the classroom, and there, this was a classroom at MIT about 50 or 60 years ago. Okay, so take a look at it for a second, and then take a look at a modern classroom at MIT today. So it's not very different. The one big change that you notice is that the seats are all in color. And the blackboards, you can slide the blackboards up and down now. So that's about the biggest change you see at this Institute of Learning with IT in its name, just like yourselves. And that's all the innovation that has happened. So it's pretty sad. There really hasn't been big innovation in learning in all of this time. So edX was formed about a year ago. It's a non-profit venture of Harvard and MIT. Together, Harvard and MIT have invested $60 million into this effort. So edX is building an open source platform for learning. So anybody in the world will be able to take the software in the platform and put courses on it. So we're going to make the software freely available to the world. We have a portal for learning. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you see the portal, edx.org. So I encourage you all to go to edx.org. This picture is about 6 months old. If you go to the same portal today, you will see 20 to 25 courses in all kinds of fields, ranging from computer science to a course on Greek history from Harvard, to a course on copyright law from Harvard, to a course on statistics from Berkeley, to a course on poverty from my colleagues at MIT, and so on. A large number of universities are joining edX to post courses on the platform. Harvard, MIT, Berkeley, Georgetown, Wellesley College, the University of Texas system with their 15 universities. So a number of universities have come on board edX to offer courses on this platform so that students worldwide can take these courses. So this is a really revolutionary enterprise offering and creating this huge movement in the MOOC space, massive open online courses. And this is one of the biggest, people have called this one of the biggest innovations in learning since the printing press. So the vision for edX is very simple. It's twofold. One vision is to expand access to education for students worldwide through online learning. It doesn't matter what your caste is, your language, your geography, your financial status, you can take these courses for free. Second, our mission is to also reinvent campus education. How do we change campus education and make it much better than it is today? So we have this dual mission: increase access, while at the same time we want to bring innovation to on-campus learning in a big way. To give you some idea of the staggering impact this is having, let's do some statistics. So if you look at MIT, MIT has about 18,000 students applying, and it takes about little less than 10%, admits little less than 10%, 1,600. Now this is nothing like the admissions at BITS. At BITS, BITS takes a far smaller fraction of students who apply to BITS. So you can be proud that MIT takes in close to 10%, but still it admits 1,600 students a year. Then let's look at our first course. So edX taught its first course. So I was the instructor for this course. We taught it about a year ago, in the spring of last year, and it was a circuits and electronics course. And we did not do any marketing. We had no marketing budget, and 1.5 lakhs of students took this course from around the world. Of that 1.5 lakhs, India was the second highest country with the enrollments of over 20,000 students from all over India. So just to give you a sense of this, 150,000 students is more than the number of students, more than the number of alumni of MIT in its 150-year history. 7,200 students passed the course, about 5% passed the course, but anybody could come and take the course. So this course was free, anybody can come and take it, and 7,200 passed the course, and that is a big number. So I teach the course every semester, or I used to teach the course every semester at MIT, and usually about 100 to 150 students took the course each semester. So I would have to teach for 35 years to teach as many students as passed the course in this first course that was taught on edX. So this technology is extraordinary. Online technology, a MOOC technology to teach courses on the edX platform is truly revolutionary. What is even exciting is that the staff resources to teach this course are very small. We had about the same number of staff members teaching the course online for 155,000 students as we have at MIT teaching a much smaller 100-student class. So this is a 1,000 times multiplier in kind of the impact of a small number of people teaching the course. So this kind of access really makes available online learning to students around the world. A large number of students from everywhere were taking the course. This is also changing how we do education on campus. So let me ask you a little pop quiz. So in this pop quiz, I'm going to show you some pictures, and I want you to guess the answer. So in this country, far, far away, so this country here is far from India, and it's very far from the United States. So edX was teaching its course, and a professor from this country got a small group of students together, and he had the students take the online class at their own time, and then they would come to the classroom and do laboratories and problem solving together. You see pictures of students taking the class together and doing problem solving in class. But they did all the videos and so on at home. There were no lectures in the class. So lectures were replaced by students doing the work at home on videos. and then they come to class and solve problems. This is called a flipped classroom. So I'd like you to guess, so where do you think, any guesses, where do you think this was happening? And completely by themselves. Anybody want to guess which country?
China.
Not quite. So I'll give you a hint. Here's the hint. Mongolia, you got it. In Mongolia, of all the countries, they were using the students to teach a flipped classroom completely by themselves. And so this class is now being taught in a number of universities, including the National University of Mongolia. It's a flipped class, and this is the new face of education, the new classroom. This is going to be revolutionary, and this is how universities are going to change in the future. So now let me talk about what an online class looks like, what such a platform looks like. So a student taking the class takes it online on their laptop or iPad or on their computer. And this is the screen that they see. This is the Berkeley Artificial Intelligence course from Berkeley. So the number of activities that you see on top of the screen, students can do a discussion forum that I will talk about. There's a textbook, and there is courseware. Courseware is where they spend most of their time. And if you look at the column on the left-hand side, so you see that the course is organized by week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on. During each week, you don't have lectures. So lectures are replaced by what we call learning sequences. A learning sequence replaces a lecture with a interleaved sequence of videos and exercises. Okay, so you have videos and you have exercises, interactive exercises, completely computer graded. And so students, so you see this bar on top of in the middle of the screen showing videos and exercises. And each video is a 5 to 10 minute video, and students watch a video and then they do an exercise. And you interleave exercises and videos, and so this really engages the students. So this kind of education, this kind of learning uses what is called the Socratic method, where you teach by asking questions in the middle of teaching. And I'll show you some proof that shows that this kind of learning really, really improves learning outcomes. When students are doing these videos, they can pause the video, they can rewind it, they can fast forward it, a number of things where they can interact with the video and do it at their own pace. They can do it at their own pace, they can do it at their own location, they can do it at their own time. And it turns out that most of the videos are watched at midnight. So I remember being dragged to class. I'm not sure what time classes start at BITS-Pilani, but at IIT Madras, the classes used to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I think that is inhuman. And so we would be dragged into class at 8 o'clock in the morning and sit in 1 hour lectures, and very often after the first 5 minutes, I would lose the teacher. I would not follow what is going on. And then the rest of the lecture would be a waste of time. Here you can pause the lecture, you can rewind, listen to it again and again. You can slow it down, speed it up, and do things at your own pace. So this kind of learning, where students watch videos and do interactive exercises, is called active learning. Where you sit in a lecture and listen to passive learning, but where you are interacting with the content. That is called interactive learning or active learning, where you are engaged with the material. And it's been proven that this kind of learning provably improves learning outcomes. And this is a landmark study done by Craig and Lockhart in 1972, where they proved, using huge amounts of statistical studies, that learning and retention is related to the depth of mental processing. In other words, how deeply you process the information as you get it. So therefore, when professors ask questions in class while they teach, that is an example of this kind of thing. And so with online learning, that's what we do. We interleave questions with videos so that students can have this engagement. That provably increases improves learning outcomes. So here I'd like to show you a little video. And let me see a show of hands. How many people have heard of Salman Khan of Khan Academy? So many of you have heard of Salman Khan. So Salman Khan was my student at MIT. And so I've been inspired very heavily by Salman Khan. And one of the primary approaches we use to do the videos is these Salman Khan style videos, where you write on a tablet and it gives you a blackboard writing kind of a style. So I will show you a video that students can pause and rewind and so on, and just give you an example of the kind of teaching you can do with such a video. So let me play this video, and let's all pray to the gods of learning. Who's it? Saraswati, I guess. Let's all say a brief little prayer to Saraswati and make sure that the video plays here. Let's go. Oops.
You see this amazing thing happening? And the key is that the stable point is when b plus equals b minus. Okay, so not exactly equal, but it's more or less equal to each other. B plus more or less equal to b minus.
So can I get a show of hands? Could you all hear the audio when this video is playing? Raise your hand if you heard the audio. Okay, good. So you at least one person heard the audio. That's good. So this is a kind of a style of video where students get the feeling that the professor is sitting right next to them and explaining something in a very tutorial style of teaching. And this is very, very popular with students and seems to work really well. So you have these videos that are 5 to 10 minutes long, and in the modern day, our modern students are very, very comfortable with this online form of interaction. And even there, it's been proven that when students can control the pace of learning by being able to pause a video or hit the continue button or rewind button. A study by Mayer in 2003 again showed that it will improve learning outcomes. So a lot of what we're doing with MOOCs and online learning in the edX platform and the style that we're doing it, provably will not only improve learning outcomes, but also increase access to learning. And so I'm going to give you 5 proof points in this presentation as to how online learning will improve learning outcomes. Why this will completely reinvent learning as we know it. So here is a proof that one study that showed that students who were able to control the pace of information coming at them simply learn better. It makes logical sense, but it is also good to see some proof from studies that have shown the same thing. Okay, so that's the videos. The next part is that on the edX platform, we have learning sequences where we interleave videos with online exercises. So let me show you some online exercises. And it's quite likely that some of you are wondering, when you have 150,000 students taking a class, how on earth do you grade that many homeworks? Even with a 100-person class, a professor and a TA might have to spend a whole day grading. With the 155,000 class, you have to spend 3 years to grade a single homework. So clearly we can't do any manual grading. So on the edX platform, all the grading is done automatically by the computer. So edX is building all the technologies to do all kinds of grading completely automatically. And I'll show you a few examples. So this is one example of grading chemical equations. So we can do all of these things online. We can do formulae online, we can do chemical equations online, we can do images. A whole number of types of exercises and homeworks can be done completely online using the computer. So here I'll show you a little video of a student doing some chemistry problems online. So this is a chemistry problem from a freshman solid-state chemistry course, a first-year solid-state chemistry course from MIT. It's been a long time since I did chemistry, so I have no idea how to answer this, but maybe some of you in the audience can do a better job of answering this question. And so I'll show you a video of a student answering this question, and you will also see that because it's online, if you get it wrong, you can keep trying and trying until you get the answer right. Okay, so let's play this video. So the student is entering the chemical equation online. and they entered the equation, and they checked the answer, they got it wrong. Okay, they can fix the answer, they make changes, and try it again, and they got it right this time. So notice a couple of things. One is, a student can try multiple times. Now, if you're like me, I made a lot of mistakes in the exam, and it was a pain. But here, because you can check your answer, you can keep submitting answers, you get a chance to correct yourself from silly mistakes. You get many trials. The other good thing is you get instant feedback. So you notice the little green tick mark on the right-hand side? The little green tick mark next to the equation, telling students that they got it right. That green tick mark has become like a cult symbol on edX. Students are telling us that they go to sleep at night dreaming of the green tick mark. They are working hard to get that green tick mark because of instant feedback. It makes learning become more like a game because they're getting instant feedback. In fact, there was one student who took our course in spring semester, and then took a Berkeley course in the fall semester last year. And here is what they had to say on the discussion forum regarding the green tick mark. Oh God, have I missed you? Where students really love this immediate feedback that they get, and they're working really hard to get the green tick mark, and they're telling us that they really missed the green tick mark. So instant feedback, besides this joke, the instant feedback is very important for learning as well. So this is another important study by Chen and others, 2 years ago, where they proved, again through widespread studies, that rapid feedback had a significant positive effect on learning outcomes. So all of us have been aware of submitting homework and you get a graded homework back 2 weeks later. That is not very good for learning. But here, because students are getting instantaneous feedback, they're able to learn much better. The next thing that you have on the edX platform is a discussion forum. Now online, you might ask the question, how do you clear doubts? If you have a doubt, how do you clear the doubt when the students ask a question? Did we lose the presentation? Great. So clearly, yeah.
So we need to get somebody muted in one of the classrooms. So it's taking it and we will revert to you.
Hyderabad and Goa classrooms, please mute both WebEx and your TV.
Other classrooms are requested to kindly mute themselves. They are getting echo.
It's muting Goa.
Much better now.
Okay, thank you very much. Kindly continue.
Thank you. Do we have the presentation up? Great.
Yeah.
So when you have a large number of students online, it's very difficult to, there's no way a professor can answer questions. So what we do is that we integrate a discussion forum, a question-answer forum with the platform. So you see an example of a discussion forum here. Students can ask questions on the discussion forum, and they get the questions answered on the discussion forum. And what we found in the spring semester was that the mean time to get a question answered was 11 minutes. So we would have a question asked by a student from the US, and 11 minutes later, someone from India would provide an answer. And on the discussion forum, we saw students from Pakistan, India, Tunisia, Colombia, USA, New Zealand, all collaborating on homeworks and problem sets and so on. It was absolutely amazing. So on this discussion forum, you notice that you see a person from Nigeria, you see a person from Myanmar, and there's a student from New York City. So students from all over the world are part of this discussion forum, and they answer questions of each other. It is amazing how this works. And students answer each other's questions, and that really enables us to scale to a large number of students because they are helping each other. In fact, we taught a version of this course at MIT in the blended model, an online course at MIT. And the MIT students had their own private discussions forum. But what the MIT students were telling us was that they did not ask their questions on the MIT discussion forum. They were asking questions in the worldwide forum. Because they said, you know, when you have 100,000 students, there's somebody on all the time. And if they asked a question on the worldwide forum, they would get instant responses on the forum. So this is truly revolutionary in terms of helping students learn. The next big thing that the platform supports is an online laboratory. Now, in classes, whether it's an online class or a virtual class, many of these classes and questions teach you analysis. You ask a question and you can analyze the answer. The real challenge is how do you teach students design? How do you teach them to design effectively? So teaching design is a real problem, where design is open-ended. Now how do you teach students to take an open-ended problem and construct an answer? So what we did was we built a laboratory. And we brought in a gamification technology into this. So what you see on the screen is a virtual laboratory that's on the edX platform. So we give students a virtual lab bench or a graph paper, which is blank. So you see a blank sheet of paper. Let me see if this works. Oh, great, this works. So on the right-hand side of the graph paper, you see a bunch of components. Think of these as Lego components. On the top of the paper, you see some analysis tools. So the components can be, for a electronic circuits class, the components can be resistors, capacitors, inductors, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you a video where students can build something like a laboratory and experiment with it. Okay, just like they build online, they build a system with Lego blocks. They can build a circuit like Legos, and they can analyze it very quickly. So let me show you a little video of a student building something on this game-like laboratory. The point of this is to show that we can do incredible things with online that you simply cannot imagine possible. So you see a video of a student building something on the online laboratory. And these are all problem sets that students do a virtual lab in the course. So you notice the student here has built a little circuit containing a resistor and a capacitor, and they did use the tools. They used a oscilloscope, do an analysis completely online. It's completely based on virtual simulation. It's a completely virtual world. There are no real pieces of hardware. So this is actually phenomenal for countries and university systems that may not have huge amounts of dollars to build out huge laboratories. All of this is hosted in the cloud. Amazon is the hosting provider, and it's all done virtually by computer. The same laboratory also supports multimedia technology. And so here's another laboratory where you will notice that students can use these sliders here to establish parameters in the circuit, and they can play with music. They can look at how music sounds through the systems that they build. They can listen to things. They can also look at waveforms. And notice all of this is completely done virtually. There's no real hardware. So let me show you another demonstration of a video involving music. And the students really, really love this experience. The students chooses reggae music. So now the student will change the circuit and do it again, and this will change the sound. So notice that what the student did was built a low-pass filter, and because of that, the sound reduced and the sharper frequency notes went away. And all this is done completely virtually to provide students with a really fun game-like experience involving music. And all they need to have is a netbook or a laptop, or for most of the experiments, even an iPad. So once students take the course, they get to, as they pass the course, they get a certificate. So here is an example certificate from MIT-X. MIT-X is the brand name of the part of MIT that is offering these courses. So here is an example of a student that has gotten a certificate from MIT-X. And these certificates are given by edX from MIT-X if they pass the course. And so this is a valuable certificate, and students can list this on their resume. And they can, when they apply for jobs, they can talk about the courses and so on and so forth. So this was a traffic by country. So notice that India is, the United States is number 1. The traffic on edX, India is the number 2 site. So India has more traffic than even the United Kingdom and other countries. More than China, more than Colombia, India is number 2. It really shows that there's a real thirst for knowledge. And you can just see that. If you look at the places like BITS and IITs and so on, the admission rates are just a staggeringly low, few percent. Even in the US, at the top universities, the admission rates are on the order of 10%. And so places like India, something like this can make a huge impact where courses, students are really craving for courses, particularly if they're not able to get into just world-class places like BITS and so on. So finally, let me show you a quote. Students really enjoyed this course. They're really enjoying learning. And I can show you a lot of statistics and data as to how well students did. But this quote from a student from Pakistan really hits home as to their own experience in this course. So this was a student who took the course from Pakistan. And so we have tons of quotes from students from all over the world. But this really goes to show that students really felt that the whole learning experience was very, very good. And many of them felt equal or better than a campus experience. So this really goes to show that we can really improve the way we do education using the whole online experience and the online technology. So let me stop there, and I would be delighted to answer questions from the audience.
So may I please request that we take turns in asking questions. May I start with the Pilani campus, where we can take up 2 questions first, then we will go to other campuses one by one. Anyone from Pilani campus, please?
Yeah, my name is Pradeep Sethi, and my question is, hello, yeah, this is Pradeep Sethi from BITS-Pilani campus. My question is, learning is an overall experience. There is classroom and there is something outside the classroom. Can you simulate that in your online edX?
So the classroom experience or the campus experience can never be replaced by the online by the online media. So, for example, when students interact with each other, and they spend late nights working with each other and solving problems and so on, that can never be replaced by online technology. However, online technology can do a really good job of a lot of the classroom experience. Lecturing can be replaced by online videos and interactive exercises. Students can do a lot of the exercises and laboratories even online. But the student-to-student interaction, some of that happens on the discussion forums, but in-person interaction is also very useful. The other big part is where students work with professors one-on-one. That is also very hard to do online. So online will never completely replace the on-campus. So my belief really is that the blended model where you combine the best of online and in person, will really be the direction of the future.
Is there any student at Pilani campus who would like to ask a question? Okay, please. Please press the look at me button.
TEDx have grown really, very fast and sure of better future. In fact, there are many students in class who are taking like an TEDx course, of course with quiz periods. How do you plan to grow, and will it still be free in future?
So right now, edX has about 6 lakh students around the world. And it is growing extremely fast. And all the courses and the certificates are also free. So our plan is that even in the future, we will continue to offer the courses for free to all the students worldwide. However, edX needs to be self-sustaining. Remember, we are a non-profit. Non-profit means that we're not going to be looking to go and do an IPO and make a lot of money for venture capitalists. We are looking to be a non-profit, but we have to be self-sustaining. So we need some source of revenue so that we can, our basic expenses can be supported. And so one thing we did, for those of you, is there anybody in this class who's taking the circuits course from edX right now? Okay, so you don't have first-hand experience of this. So the circuits course from edX just announced a proctored examination this Friday. So students can take a proctored exam by going to a testing center from Pearson. It's the same set of testing centers that offers the GMAT exam, and there is a fee. So they'll begin charging fees for special services like a proctored exam and things like that. So that's how we hope to be able to generate revenue to support the operations. But good question.
Okay, there is one more question from Pilani.
Hi, this is Shashikant. I'm just enjoying how fantastic this keynote is turning out in terms of quality. I have a question. You can be sure that in India, among the students, grassroots, edX is very famous, Coursera is very famous, Khan Academy is very famous, and even though universities have not adopted all these things officially, and hopefully they will do that, but students are definitely very aware of all these things. Could you explain in your own words what are the similarities and differences between them?
Between the various MOOC providers?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, to your question about adoption of online education on campuses, it turns out it's not just Indian campuses, but campuses around the world have not really adopted online technologies. Whether it's MIT or Harvard or Berkeley or Georgetown or Wellesley or UPenn or Duke or virtually any campus in the world, they really have not adopted online technologies until now in a concerted manner. I think with MOOC courses and platforms like edX, our hope is that we will really cause campuses to make a big change and a move towards online learning. In terms of the differences, with Sal Khan, for example, so he was my student at MIT, and certainly we actually work closely with Sal Khan. So as one example, we just created a course. It's an online course on edX called edX 101, which is an online course on how to teach an online course. And in that course, Sal Khan teaches how to create Sal Khan videos. So we are very collaborative with the Khan Academy and Sal. The difference with Khan Academy is that edX is offering complete courses from some of the world's best universities and the world's best professors and some of the world's best courses. Khan Academy is focused much more on videos on math problems. So it's more focused on, here's a math topic and topics in mathematics and topics in high school level education. edX is about offering complete courses. In terms of differences with some of the other book providers like Coursera and so on, I think one of the big differences is that, so edX is focused on providing the highest quality courses from the best universities. And the philosophy of edX is quite different. The edX is a non-profit where we really hope to create a lot of technologies that make the education provided to be of the highest quality possible. But fundamentally, one of the big differences is a philosophical difference there.
May I now request Goa campus to kindly take turns to ask questions. We have time for 2 more questions from Goa campus before we shift to Hyderabad campus, please.
Hyderabad campus. In a way, we are adopting these online courses from this semester onwards. We have asked our students to identify online courses, be it history, be it sociology, philosophy, or circuits, any course, and then register for a 3-unit study-oriented project. The student is expected to go to his teacher and explain to him what he has learned, submit a report every fortnight or monthly, and finally, at the end of the semester, he has to give a seminar and submit a project report. This is what we have introduced this semester. I would like to know from Professor Anant, are there any, I would not say issues, any legal problems in adopting such a type of course?
So just to understand the question, so students from BITS will be able to take a MOOC course that is offered worldwide, and then practice a report and get the local campus. So just so I understand your question, yes. Students from a BITS campus can go take a course online from edX or any other book provider. Let's talk about edX, so I can talk about edX. Take a course from edX and write a project report and get 3 units from the local campus. Is that correct?
Yes, you have got it correct.
I think that's a great idea. I encourage you completely. A number of campuses have begun to offer credit for edX courses. And that's the beauty of the internet. So, students can go take a course and offer credit. edX has also begun to offer courses, call them private labeled courses to campuses, where local students can take these courses on a campus in their own private course, so to speak. And so that is also fully possible. But what you're saying is perfectly okay and a really good idea.
This is Sarat here from Hyderabad campus classroom. Thank you, Professor Anant Agarwal, for delivering this great lecture. I have a question here. How do we share our intellectual property to add to the plethora of courses that you have from BITS-Pilani? There are many eminent professors here as well. Just trying to understand how we can create similar interactive courses or lectures that are unique from a BITS point of view of teaching, and how we can share both to our internal students, but also to external world through your platform.
So I would encourage you to ask your leadership to contact edX and ask to show interest in becoming a edX partner. And edX is open to universities. edX is looking for to create a small group of universities, not a lot, a small number of universities from around the world that are very high quality universities who can offer very high quality courses, and is creating a partnership of these universities and so that they can all offer courses on the edX platform.
Thank you.
So, is Goa is ready? Maybe we can request Goa campus now to please take up to 2 questions. Please enable the look at me buttons at Goa campus.
Here, I have a quick question. I'm from Goa campus. So my question is really about choice. To me, in the offline education world, it's pretty simple. You go to a university, there are a couple of professors teaching a course. You just pretty much learn what they teach you, or if you're interested, you go online and look up stuff. Now, in the currently there's so much content out there in the online world. There's Coursera, there is EDX, there is Khan Academy, and there are pretty much so many MOOC courses out there. So there is this one course just taught by at least 100 other universities. There are 100 professors teaching the same thing. Now my question is, for a student who goes to a university, how does he figure out which course he should be taking, or which of the MOOCs he should be going to? I'm pretty sure pretty soon there will be a startup out there who will look at all these ratings and come up with, this is the best course that you should be taking. But do you see this as a problem? Online world offers too much choice that it really doesn't help.
So when's the last time the choice has been a problem? I call it, it's an opportunity. Now, I'm much older than you. When I was in India, when I was growing up in India in Bangalore in the 60s, you could buy, there was only one kind of toothpaste that you could buy. Colgate and little white paste, and that's it. You don't like it? Tough luck. You have to go and do the neem leaves or whatever else. That's all you had. But today you have a lot of choice. Okay, you have Crest with green stripes, and you have Colgate with sparkling things in it. You have all of this choice. We don't call it a problem, do we? We say choice is a good thing. And so choice is, so first of all, choice is a good thing. Second is that I think you can choose courses just like you choose a university. So you're from BITS Goa. So what's your branch?
Computer science.
Computer science. So let's say, I'm sure many computer science majors from BITS-Pilani will be applying to go to, graduate school to the USA, and you'll be thinking, okay, when I've read a lot of applications from India and other places, and they've listed edX courses, and they say, look, I took this edX course, and I got this score of this edX course, and so you need to make up your mind. What courses from which university will give you the highest value? So you decide. So if you go to BITS-Pilani, so if you're an employer or whatever, will they care more about you getting an A in a course at BITS-Pilani, or will they care more about you getting an A in a course from some small university in Bangalore that nobody has heard about? So at the end of the day, I think the professor in the university that teaches the course, their reputation matters a lot. And second is, I'm not sure you can see this, but I showed you an example of a certificate. So with edX, edX gives real certificates from places like MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, and so on, where the university is saying that this is a real certificate, where you're affirmed that you've successfully passed the course. And so I think you have to look at all of these things: the university, the course, the content, and make a choice. Just like you make a choice about which universities to apply to.
Awesome. Makes sense. Thank you.
Is there any other question from Goa campus, please?
I think we don't have any questions from Goa campus.
Okay, in that case, thank you very much, Anant, for your wonderful lecture. But I believe we have okay. If you are going to continue, please continue. Maybe I made a mistake considering that you are through. Can you go ahead?
Yeah, no, but I'm happy to take more questions, but I'm done with my presentation.
The question that's coming to my mind is, there are two students. Student A, who took Professor Anant Agarwal's class in electronics while sitting in a classroom on the MIT campus, right, and successfully completes the course. Student B takes the same course in electronics taught using this medium, but the course was given by Professor Anant Agarwal. Essentially, the curriculum was the same, the teacher was the same, the medium was different, the style was different. At the end of it, would you say that either A or B learned more, would do better, would be able to use his or her learning better than the other? So what is your assessment?
It's Professor Jain, it's a fantastic question. I think it is one of the, I've given this talk quite a bit, or similar talks, and I would simply say that this is probably one of the best questions I've heard. It really makes me think really hard as to whether I really believe in this. And I'll give you two answers. First of all, in the spring semester, we actually did teach it two ways. We taught it online to the world, and we also offered an online course at MIT. So at MIT, I've taught this course in person to students, and in the spring semester of 2012, students also took this online class at MIT. And we asked students the following question: did they prefer this online class, or did they prefer a traditional campus class? By 2/3 majority, students said they preferred the online class. Second, if you ask me, which student learned better? I am convinced that the students who took the online class learned at least as well, and most likely better than the students in the campus class. Both students were taught by me, but the online students, I'm absolutely convinced, learned better. I'll give you a second proof point. This course was offered at San Jose State University in California. So edX created a special hosting of the course for that campus. And traditionally, and they just published a paper in Education Conference 2 days ago. The president of Stanford is a person with the name of Professor Mo Kayami. So he presented a paper 2 days ago at an education conference. And the results are absolutely staggering. Staggering results. They showed that when they taught that same course on their campus, 4 out of 10 students this is a very, very hard class. 4 out of 10 students failed the traditional class and they had to repeat the class. When they offered this MIT class as an MIT class through the edX platform online on their campus, only 1 out of 10 students failed the class and had to repeat it. The failure rates reduced by factor of 4. That is a staggering result. I haven't seen anything in education technology, as far as I can remember, that has made such a big difference. Now, this is just one data point, and we have to do a lot more study and understanding. But your question was, Professor, Anant Agarwal, what do you think? So I really do believe that online learning in this manner will simply, provably improve learning outcomes. Yes.
I have a follow-up question, and I guess I have the answer to that second follow-up question, given your answer to the first question. What I'm actually thinking from BITS' viewpoint is, should we be adopting this technology for the purpose of training our students who live and work on campuses, our campuses, or do we look at this technology for the purpose of offering education to students across the country in the online mode?
I think, I'll tell you what MIT is doing. And I'll tell you what I'm advising all universities. And that's a big part of the edX mission. The edX mission is to not only provide access to education for students worldwide, but edX mission is also to change how we do things on campus. So edX is working closely with campuses to change how we do things on campuses. So your answer to your question, which I'm sure you know, is both. As world-class teachers at BITS-Pilani, I think, and given the number of people in India who don't have access to high-quality education, I would say it is our duty as teachers to be able to offer learning to all those students around the country who don't have access to high-quality education. That's access. And the second point is to improve on campus, which is a big part of the edX mission. And I think that's where edX differs quite a bit from Coursera, Udacity, and so on, where edX is doing a lot of work to improve on-campus education by working with our campuses. And part of it is because edX is governed by universities like MIT and Harvard, where we really want to improve on-campus education. So my advice to BITS would be, not only should you be offering courses for people all around the country and the world, But you should also be adopting this technology to reinvent and make education on your own campuses to be cutting edge.
Good morning, Professor. I am Aryan Shah, faculty member of BITS-Pilani campus. I am really moved with your presentation and the technology you have showed it. I have two questions. First question is that, employer needs the employability or looks to the employability of the student. Probably they do not bother much which university, etc. Only they go to the top level because they feel that students will be good. But do you feel that this technology may replace the campus-based education totally? Students by sitting at home can complete several courses and university can award the degree that the student need not come to the campus at all. Is it a possibility in future where university can students, thousands of students, but not coming to the campus, only sitting at their own place or in country? That is my first question. My second question, how much time it took to create one course which you ultimately say, which you showed the circuit and theory, whatever it is, how much time it took? Because I am really today moved by your presentation and your technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Both, just excellent questions all around. To your first question, in terms of the employability of students and whether they can completely bypass university, what will happen to universities? Now, I believe that if universities do not move to improve what they do on campus, if universities continue business as usual, then I believe that universities will be in trouble. Because this technology will improve learning outcomes. However, I really believe that universities have something to offer that this technology does not have, which is the whole in-person interaction, where students work with the professor, get inspired by the professors. My own experience as an undergraduate at IIT, I think to be really honest, to me, going to classes was good, and I'm a professor myself, so I can honestly, say bad things about professors because I'm a professor myself. But to me, from my IIT experience, going to the classes, going to the lectures is not what I remember from IIT deeply. What I remember from IIT is the whole experience. The friends I made, the colleagues, the friends that I made at IIT, the people I worked with, the people I talked to. They've been, it's been, 30 years since I graduated from IIT Madras. That is an experience that is impossible to replace. So I think if we take on campus, if you bring these technologies on campus and combine the best of online and in-person interaction, I think we'll take campus education to a new level. And so campuses will get a lot better. So I think campuses will not go away, they will get a lot better. But at the same time, online learning will provide access to education to all those students who are not able to get into BITS-Pilani. So BITS admits, SP and Viggy were telling me that BITS admits, all of BITS admits on the order of a few thousand students. But hundreds of thousands of students would like to come to BITS. So what happens to, but 3,000 or 4,000 come to BITS, what happens to the remaining 97,000 or whatever students? So this technology has a chance of offering those 97,000 students at least some form of the learning that you offer at BITS. So they get something. But those that come to BITS get something even better. So I think that this technology can be viewed as a rising tide that will lift all boats. It's like a rising tide. All boats will get lifted. Big ships will get lifted, boats will get lifted. On campus gets lifted, and off campus also gets lifted. So I think it will be good for everybody. To your second question, how long does it take to, what is the effort level to put together a course? I think first of all there is a small learning curve. You have to create these bite-sized, the 5-10 minute videos and so on. So edX has created a course on how to create an online course, which can be very helpful. And I think the effort in terms of creating a course online is about the same level of effort if you were to create a new on-campus course. So I'm sure there are many professors in the audience. You have gray hair like I do, so you can only be professors. And so you all have created a course on campus, so you know how much effort it takes to create a new course. So I believe it is about as much effort as creating a new course on campus. That's the ballpark idea.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm Kamlesh Kumar from BITS-Pilani. Actually, like there are courses which are having experimental component. Like we actually in real life perform the experiment, prepare the setup, do the experiment, get the results, analyze the results, and all those things. Now, to make the learning more realistic, is this entire mechanism is there in this edX or this experimental component of the course?
Very good question. So again, many of you asked the question, how is edX different from some of the other MOOC providers? Because edX is focused on quality, edX has invested a lot in technology, and edX, to my knowledge, edX is the only online MOOC provider whose courses include an online experimental lab component. So edX has a virtual laboratory based on simulation. So we have laboratories for circuits and electronics. We will have a physics course taught by the world-famous Walter Lewin. How many of you have heard of the world-famous Walter Lewin's first-year physics courses? So he will be offering a physics course in mechanics and electricity and magnetism next year. And that will have a laboratory component. We have a chemistry course in solid-state chemistry. That has some visualization and interactive experimental components. So many of our courses have these experimental courses, and it takes some solid technology to do it. Where with the circuits, so I would encourage you to go to edX.org and go to the circuits course and play with the electronics laboratories for yourself. So you can do these what-if kinds of experiments, change the circuit design, and see how things look. And so you can do these experiments yourselves and see for yourself that it is possible to do that.
May I now request Professor V.S. Rao, the director of BITS-Pilani Hyderabad campus, to kindly propose a vote of thanks. And incidentally, before that, from all of us our side, Professor Agarwal, it was an inspiring lecture. We all enjoyed the interactions. And of course, post vote of thanks, Professor B.N. Jain would like to say a few things as well.
Thank you.
Professor V.S. Rao, please. May I please request Hyderabad campus to kindly unmute themselves? Otherwise, Professor Rao will not be heard.
We still cannot hear it.
Hyderabad campus, are you able to unmute yourself, please? Because we are not able to hear Professor Rao. Professor Anant Agarwal for delivering the second keynote address in such an inspiring way. Professor S.P. Kothari for being able to make it and to be able to mentor quite a few activities of BITS Alumni Association International. Vivi for making it to the particular talk and being instrumental in organizing it. And of course, all the directors of all BITS-Pilani campuses, Professor B.N. Jain, the Vice Chancellor, all my campus colleagues across the campuses, all student friends, and people elsewhere from Cisco and Godrej who all made it possible. Thank you very much. Professor Jain, for your concluding remarks, please.
No, I don't have too many concluding remarks to make, except to thank Professor Agarwal for having spared so much of his time to share his thoughts with all of us. Based on his talk and that of Professor Andrew Ng last night, I am certain that most of my colleagues in the department, as well as the leadership, will start to think of how BITS can transform itself as far as the educational programs of progress and the style in which it operates its programs on our front. And perhaps we'll also look at newer ways of extending the extension experience beyond BITS. So thank you very much, Professor Agarwal, for your time and your thoughts. I'd also like to thank Professor Pilani, Vivi, and this young lady from Boston who joined us